Sri Lanka, everything exploded in the house.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the January 10th, 2024 Parks and Recs meeting at 6:32 p.m. First agenda item is roll call. Do we have any emergency circumstances requests for commissioners to attend remote?
We do not tonight.
Okay.
So I'll just proceed with roll call, starting with Chairperson Kern,
Present.
Commissioner Comerford,
Present.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Present.
Commissioner Ocampo, Commissioner Sewell.
Present.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jovi. Next item is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any deletions, additions, or changes to tonight's agenda?
I have a question about the agenda, where it says Public Art Advisory Committee meeting 11:20. We just had a meeting for the Public Advisory meeting Monday, yeah, so,
But it's not on here because this was published on Friday of last week.
oh,
So
okay.
that meeting will be noticed on the next
The
agenda
next
for Park
one.
and Rec
Oh,
Commission, but we
God,
can
so
acknowledge
have to
that you met.
remember the last, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions, deletions, additions, or changes to the agenda tonight? If not, I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I second that motion.
I'm sorry, I missed everything. Who made the motion to
I made the
approve?
motion.
You did? Okay. And then Renee got it. There we go. Oh,
Oh, hi,
Frank, I
Julie.
don't know if you can make the motion as the chair. You're
Oh.
calling for a motion, so
Okay.
if Renee wants to be the first, then we just need a second.
Sure, I'll move for that motion.
Okay.
perfect. Okay.
And
Also,
and Julie's with us.
Julie, can you hear us?
Perfectly. Sorry. Thank you for accommodating me.
Thanks for joining us. So we are now adopting tonight's agenda. Chairperson Kern,
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford,
Aye.
Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo, Commissioner Sewell,
Aye.
Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from our November 8th, 2023 meeting. They were in your board packet. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I move to approve.
A second.
Alrighty. We're approving our last meeting's minutes. Chairperson Kern,
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford,
Aye.
Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo, Commissioner Sewell,
Aye.
Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is citizen communications. Do we have any?
We do not.
Thank you. We do not have any presentations this evening. Moving into old business. The first event up is event debrief on our amazing Festival of Lights.
Yeah, so the commission hasn't met since we held that event in early December, so we wanted to make sure we gave you the opportunity to debrief that event and share your feedback with staff so that we can take that into consideration for next year's event. So just wanted to afford the commission an opportunity to discuss how they felt that event went this year, or last year.
I loved it. I think the town needed it, and it was a beautiful night, and you guys did a great job. I mean, the whole town did a great job. As a spectator, it was perfect.
I was positively thrilled with the turnout. We had a really great crowd this year. I think the amazing weather helped as well. I loved the additional lighting that was provided throughout, and especially the gazebo throughout the season. That was a really, really cool addition this year. So, well done.
Year after year, I think this has been the most attended, well-attended one. Obviously, the weather. A lot of the activities, too, was more of like experience, and it was nice to also see the kindergarten or the preschool performance with Santa Claus coming out of the fire. I think everything was well done. Like the Park and Rec staff did an amazing job on handing out. I mean, the long line of cookies and chocolate, right? Hot chocolate was like everybody wanted to basically get the treats and all that. So, but it was like well planned and well organized.
Has staff
I
heard?
just want to.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, there you are, Julie.
I
I
just
looked
wanna give
over.
a shout out to Frank and Natalie for doing such a great job representing Parks and Rec, and especially like as we were awaiting Santa. But I agree, it was awesome. I mean, it was just so much fun from like the viewpoint of someone who was there. The lights were just magical. I love that we have them in the gazebo, I think still, or at least we did the last time I passed. So huge upgrade, I think, just all the way around. We did get really lucky with the weather, but I think Natalie, you said it really well. Like it became a whole experience, with all of the stations and so many things to see. So I found it just beautiful, and huge kudos to Parks and Rec for pulling it off, because I know a lot needed to happen, and JoJo and Aaron and all of the people who put their hearts and souls into it. It really was just splendid.
Thanks, Julie. I don't know if you noticed, but you started speaking and I turned to my right.
I say.
So yeah, you guys really are going to have to outdo yourselves next year because this is a pretty high bar. Have you gotten any feedback from the community on it?
I mean, yes, so far the input that we've received is overwhelmingly positive, that everybody had a really great experience. And like Tom said, I think everybody kind of needed that in that moment. And seeing the community come together, I think was really powerful. And we're so grateful to our counterparts that make the event possible, and people like Sharon Boggs and JoJo and Aaron. And it really is a collaborative effort with some kind of volunteers within the community that are superheroes for us. So, and grateful to the subcommittee as well for all of your hard work to kind of ideate and come up with some new ideas to take a fresh spin on the event this year. I think it was very well received by the community. So.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, yeah, the idea of Festival of Lights is having all those lights. That was really clever and really took it to a new level, to where people were surprised. And I did the flash mob, and that was so much fun. So I just got to say, kudos. It was great. And yeah, we're going to have a hard time topping it next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Start
But-
thinking now.
Yeah, we'll start. It gives us something to aim for.
How can we leave those beautiful lights under the gazebo up for year round?
I don't know.
Is there a budget for that?
Probably not.
Okay. We'll get a
But
sponsor.
I will say that because of the turnout that we had this year, we did run out of cookies and cocoa and giveaway wands. So something to be mindful of as we come into this next budget cycle is possibly making that ask to City Council to increase the budget based on kind of the community support and the attendance. So
Out of curiosity, how many wands did we have, roughly?
400,
Wow. Okay.
and they went
Yeah.
super quick. So,
Yeah, I got one and I gave it away to a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yep.
there are so many kids. It was great.
Yeah.
A lot of kids.
Any other thoughts or comments on Festival of Lights?
You know, I maybe just if it ends up that budget remains restrictive on, being able to buy more wands and cookies and cocoa, we maybe want to think about some sort of an age range for, just so that we don't run out for the little kids. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all, nothing else.
Okay, again, job well done, amazing event. Moving on to the 2024 Strategic Planning Workshop. There was a note within the packet of ideas for topics to be discussed at that event. I think Noreen even invited us to add to this list if we wanted to add to the list. Now, we're not going to get through all of this. In looking at the size of some of these things, and I don't know where your mind is right now, Noreen, but I'm thinking that we need at least 2 to focus on, with a maximum of probably 4, and then maybe 2 more for a backlog that we can work on later this year. So maybe a total of 6 that we would work on, and we need to put those in priority order tonight. So I don't know how hungry you guys are, literally hungry, but we can probably plow through this and get this taken care of.
Yeah, and that, I mean, the main focus is to identify those priorities so that we can begin structuring the workshop that we're going to be doing with you on the 3rd, I think it is, February 3rd, so that staff can kind of prepare the logistics for those items. So, yeah, as Frank said, if you could kind of identify some of those top priorities and then some maybe second-tier priorities, that would be really great.
Can I add a write-in just to keep us, because I mean, why not just add to the list to start
Sure.
off with? Okay. I just put down like general finance inclusion and just like a general financial overview like we had at our retreat. Was that last year or the year before? It's just
Last
very
year.
helpful to have that.
Okay.
Frank, that was exactly what was on my mind. Like, what is our financial situation? Like, what is the outlook in coming years? Because I think for us, it kind of all relates. There are a lot of topics on here, but some of them are very interrelated. Like, to me, the money piece is what we could potentially do that informs as a legacy project, what could happen, for example, if we took up Crocker Trail with that in mind. There's an element of that becomes an age-friendly city. Like, so many of them are very interrelated with, what we would choose to do. So my instinct would be to focus on where we are financially, what we can expect in the future, and then given that situation, like prioritizing maybe what could be a project we all agree is a high priority for us as a commission to work on, and how we will go about doing it. So maybe looking at a few things, but selecting the thing we really as a commission want to focus our efforts on outside of the day-to-day and all of the things we do.
Not to sidetrack us, Noreen, but can we have like that financial overview in addition to talking through some of these things?
Yeah, I mean, we can provide whatever financial information you feel might be helpful to inform some of those kind of efforts.
Yeah, for instance, exploring the feasibility of a Park and Rec Foundation 501c3, that might become necessary, or might be a better idea if we find that our financial situation is, not going to meet what we want to do. That might be tight.
I would like to put that on the table. I think, because my guess is it's just not, this is a very ambitious group.
Yeah.
So could we look at that and just have part of the day be like, what does that mean? What would that look like? How have other cities, how have they gone about that, and what have been the results?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of successful examples of that just in San Mateo County. So we can certainly bring information regarding that to you.
Then that also feeds into alternative funding strategies and the impact fees and the fee analysis study. All of those are kind of financial planning things.
Mm-hmm.
Through the chair, oh, is this working? Through the chair, it says the goal setting process is just for the PNR Commission. Is there like a support, like, I guess like for the Park and Rec staff? Are there goals that your team works on that we can?
So typically we work off of the city council goals.
Okay.
Right? So there are 5 kind of goals and initiatives, which we've shared with you. I think we went through at our last retreat. So internally, we try to build upon that. We are doing a staff team retreat in March following your retreat. So we will piggyback off of the conversations that we have at our strategic planning workshop with each of you to make sure that we're aligning our efforts with your priorities.
And does our goals have to, obviously they have to align with the cities, right? Is that something that?
In
or
theory,
not?
they should, yes.
Okay, and like with all the, this entire list, is this also part of like the cities list too? Like, does it?
No, these
Or-
have
or
been
there's certain-
generated by all of you in various conversations. So if once we identify priorities, if there's things that the commission wishes to tackle and we pursue, then that would come before like a city council subcommittee or the full city council for their consideration. So in determining what your approach is, you want to make sure that you're thinking through what the city council goals are so that we're in alignment with them.
I personally cannot remember the city goals. Do you have those? Would that be helpful to look
It's like fiscal responsibility, environmental
Ecological
sustainability,
Okay.
community building.
Safety.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll bring those back as a reminder to the.
Yep. There's one more E. One more that starts with an E.
Environment? I don't know. So do
Yeah,
we,
that's what it is. Economic development. There we go. We got them all. Yep.
so do we pick our favorite here, or how do we go about
Well,
prioritizing these?
I think like I said, I think we need to really get it down to 2 to make the day and the workshop as successful as possible. So I've heard both you and Julie bring forward the 50, what is this? 501c3. So that one's seems to have the most attention at the moment. I am a huge fan of continuing to pursue the capital improvement projects that we have already laid out and determining how we can move one or more of those forward, including getting funding, including putting together and executing a plan against them. So that's one that's sort of a passion project of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And-
think probably on this list that falls maybe with yours, Frank, for me would be consideration of a legacy project.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think that goes hand in hand.
yeah, I remember that.
I learned the other night at the public art meeting that Age Friendly is going to be able to cross-pollinate, I think, with us as well. So
Okay.
a lot of movement there with AARP and Cunningham and benches and art and all that.
Well, there are 2 big areas right there.
Massive, and I also love the Crocker Park Trail.
I know, but can that be part of our projects list, or?
Can that go under capital improvement?
And that goes under Age Friendly
Okay.
as well, benches.
Just keep rolling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like that was on our list, right? Or,
I think it was.
Yeah.
okay.
They just did the gravel, so
Yeah, the rains definitely,
packing it down.
it does really help. It also causes a few little gashes here and there, but nothing compared to what it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned Age Friendly is 45 and above, so
I am,
Get
I'm
ready,
just
people.
getting there.
Get ready, people.
Well, that was a good year. Okay, so it sort of sounds to me like what I'm hearing is we can actually roll a few things under like capital improvement here. Like Legacy can roll under that. Crocker Park Trail can roll under that. Yeah, age-friendly can roll into that as well. It is a lot.
Yep. That and financing, I think, are going to take
Yeah.
the whole
I think
thing.
so too.
I'll take a nap on
Could-
finance.
Could someone remind me, the ad hoc subcommittee with IDEA? I'm sorry that I don't remember what that is.
So we had discussed doing a joint subcommittee between Park and Rec Commission and the IDEA Committee, which is the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and
Oh,
Accountability Committee.
Okay,
Because a lot of what we do mixes with what they're trying to accomplish. And so I think identifying some joint initiatives will be something that we do in the future regardless of whether or not it's a priority right now to establish that subcommittee. There is some overlap that already exists, but just building upon that.
great, thanks.
That
Yeah,
one's-
I'm
that
a
one's-
big fan of.
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Julie.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm a big fan of that, but I don't know that it needs to be on this agenda. I think we have some pretty big fish to fry. I'm kind of envisioning it like, here's the financial overview. Here's, what we expect in the next few years, and maybe we can include potential development impact fees in that, and like when we might actually see those fees and what they could look like and what they could be spent for. Then the 501c3, here's your other option to potentially get revenue. And then here are the projects where we prioritize, like based on then what we know we might have.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. That was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, the ad hoc subcommittee, let's just do that. Like, we don't need to talk about that. Let's just do
Yeah.
it. So, okay.
I guess there's one other thing, it's the very last one on the list, this advocacy for Parks and Rec. I'm not sure that it necessarily needs to be an agenda item on our offsite or whatever we're calling it, but I do think that'd be something that would be worth discussing at some point, just ways that we can advocate that are effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these items I think are like, they should be our to-dos for the year. So,
Yeah.
and that's like one of our to-dos, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Well, that's a nice segue to the next item on the agenda. So
We do that, you and I.
way to go. Good job, Renee and Frank.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay, so but before we move on from this, I want to make sure are there any other commissioner comments or input?
Are there any other 503Cs within our, are there any other groups that are using that
In our city.
in our
In this-
city?
Like a lot of nonprofit organizations do, like Lions Club or BDW. I think, they're 501c3s.
But
Yeah,
they're-
no.
But do you mean like city, like
Yeah,
the
city-
functions of the city?
Yeah, city projects.
No.
That's interesting.
Mm-mm.
It's really a great idea.
But
actually.
it's a common practice for Park and Rec
Yeah.
in the industry.
Ah,
I
okay.
think the kids' sports teams sometimes
Yes.
as well. I think there's
Yes.
couple of kids' sports teams
Yes.
that are in
Mhm.
Brisbane.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see how other cities have organized that
Yep.
and used that, because I have no idea, but
That
I
was
would
my
like
point.
to have a
yeah.
model. Yeah.
Yeah, copy paste, right?
Hmm.
We can talk about that.
Okay, you guys feel good? Like you got enough clarity?
Yeah, I think the way that I'm kind of reconciling all of the input is an emphasis on kind of finance and alternative funding sources and the background information behind that, and then like project-based content in terms of like a legacy project and implementation of capital improvement projects and master plans. Yes?
Literally perfectly
Okay.
said.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you to this commission for getting through that so quickly. I did not see that coming, so that's great. Okay, on to new business. We've got our 2024 Park and Rec Commission calendar that was included in your packet.
So we tried to build out this calendar for the commission each year, and it's a living document that we update throughout the course of the year as we have content and agenda items to add. So I wanted to provide the general framework for you this evening with the standing items that we anticipate on an annual basis, but also allow the opportunity for the commission to add additional items to specific agendas as desired, based on the previous conversation regarding kind of prioritization of what you want to do in the coming year. We can add some of those things here if we want to put something like Park and Rec advocacy on a regular commission agenda, we can do that, or any other items of interest of the commission.
I mean, there's not a ton of space on here, but
There is.
I mean, through the chair, I know one of the items on our list to consider for our offsite was potentially mental health. And I'm wondering if we could push that up. I was looking at maybe the February meeting where we would have YAC. I know we have another big item that is typically time consuming, which is the fee structure. So that's one where I'm not sure that we'd have the right time, but I'd like to dig into that and what we can do to kind of put together a plan before May, which is National Mental Health Month.
Thanks for mentioning that, Julie. So staff are working on doing some kind of event planning for May for Mental Health Awareness Month. So we would welcome that conversation with the commission. I'm wondering if February, if it could happen in February so that we have sufficient time between February and May to implement those ideas.
That would be great.
Okay.
Great idea.
Yeah.
any other ideas or additions? Okay, well, you said it's a living document. We can all think on that and come back at the next meeting if there's any additions that we want to discuss. Okay, moving on to the report section. First up is the chairperson report. I do not have a report this evening. Nothing to report. Moving on to subcommittees. Festival of Lights Subcommittee, your last meeting was 11/16/23. Anything else to add about Festival of Lights? Nothing there. Okay, next up is the Public Art Advisory Committee meeting that happened on November 20th.
We gonna talk about that
Yeah, I don't even.
this Monday?
No.
We gotta go all the way
We
back.
got to go all the way back, which I
Oh,
think
gee.
was the
wasn't
fire
there.
hydrant. I think it was the fire hydrant meeting, wasn't it?
I wasn't there.
Okay. Do you guys have notes on that one?
From 11/20.
Yeah.
I
haven't-
don't, but you can discuss the most
Oh, I
recent.
probably have it. Hang on.
I could discuss the most recent if you want. Lisa?
I believe
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
the
okay.
fire hydrant,
Yeah,
the
I
plug
think
preserve
it was the
relocation.
one where we. Okay, here we go. Let me look at it. Yeah, we reviewed images of the hydrants for the hydrant project and discussed future placement and locations in Brisbane.
Yep.
And we did that, and it was pretty quick. And I think that was about it.
And then Monday, we talked about, we had a presentation about the stars, replacing the stars at the playground.
Yeah.
And that kind of led into a discussion of how we can work with Public Works to connect the dots with Public Works projects that can combine art like walls, stairs, benches, and use those funds, get ahead of it so we can plan and combine art with some of the structural improvements that we can make, which was interesting, really great.
However, we also discussed how it's a different process
Yep.
going through the Arts Commission versus a Public Works project that, when they cross and when they don't. Because you can't call something art that is really just a maintenance thing. And so that was discussed and clarified. And I think you're right, it does offer some opportunities, but it also has to be art.
Yeah, we have to work on that because I think we're gonna get a lot of opportunity. A lot of people are gonna be asking the same thing because they know there's a budget there, right? So,
Right. Right.
And then, yep.
Go ahead, Tom.
Let's see. Karen talked about age-friendly and benches, which was really interesting too. Which has kind of brought up all this stuff, and that again is a Public Works project. It could be art. Low-hanging fruit. We're going to be working on the turtle and the sculpture up at Firth Park. as well as moving the fire hydrants forward. We are meeting with the master plan group, 9 Dot Arts on March 20th. They're coming to town, I guess?
February.
Oh, February, yeah.
February 5th, I think it is.
February
Yep.
5th.
Yeah, early Feb.
I think they're coming to town and we're going to hang out with them, and that should be really great. We're excited about them. Everyone's really excited about this group. And then phase 3 over at Sierra Point, put in their molecule and their bronze.
They're sculptures,
Sculptures.
figures, yeah.
And that's pretty cool. We were very excited about that because that's our first kind of really big projects. I mean, they're massive. You should check, and they're beautiful. You should go check out Sierra Point and see that installation. It's not open yet.
And we were thinking about doing some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony that the city could come out and see those things in place when they do finally open up the project.
And that's my report.
Can we add public art to our tour that we usually do once a year? I think that was on the schedule for May or something.
Yeah, we usually do offsite in June, so we can
Let's do
put
that.
public
Or
art.
Good idea.
June, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good idea. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sounds like you guys have been busy. Next subcommittee report is the Community Park Improvement Subcommittee meeting, which was held on December 5th.
So Trudy was there. We had one resident join us, but the idea was this was kind of building upon a council meeting with discussions about how we preserve but also improve the community park for public use. And so that was the first kind of convening of that subcommittee, open to the public. And so we're going to be holding another subsequent meeting to encourage more public participation about what their vision is for the community park and what they'd like to see there in terms of improvements. So I think that was really it. It was very brief. So.
But we did tour the park and actually look at spaces that are available that could be used. And we did come up with the idea, we found a spot for a bocce ball court. I spoke to a couple of people and they were like, oh my God, yes, oh my God, yes. So that was an idea. And then the back garden, I call it the back garden, the back part, it just sits there. So we were talking about that. Keegan had a lot of good ideas, the City Works guy.
Is your mic on, Trudy? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not speaking loud enough?
Oh, I heard you. I heard you now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So we looked at that back there about some ideas for that where you just keep it kind of the way it is, but make people aware that it's there. I mean, you forget, because I walk early in the morning and I told them there's never anybody back here, so I sit back here. You know, this is kind of a nice spot, so, you know, we'll develop and keep you informed.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank
Give
you.
Some ideas.
Great.
Okay, thanks for that update, Trudy. Next item under the subcommittees is setting subcommittee meetings. We probably have a bunch of those to set up at this point since we pushed them out at our last meeting.
So staff have identified at least 2 that we need to schedule. The first being concerts in the park, and the second being the subsequent community park improvements subcommittee. So
Okay.
do we want to do concerts in the park first?
Sure.
So it's Trudy, Natalie, and Julie.
So I'll be traveling next week, but I'll be free in the next 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
Like the week of the 15th. Or sorry, no, the week of the 22nd.
I don't have my calendar. I can't have it around February 19th.
Okay.
Because I'll be out of town for my granddaughter's 18th birthday.
Oh.
How about that first week in February? First or second week in February? Like the February 6th, 7th, or 8th?
Do we need bands to book during this meeting? Or a list to review?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
we can provide a list to review, and that's why, if possible, I know you said the week of the 22nd. If there was a day that we could find that week would be more ideal, because we do have a number of bands who have reached out already and are filling up quickly on their schedules with other cities. I don't know if, like, say the 25th could work.
I am out of town the 24th through the 27th. I could do the 23rd.
Are we talking February?
January.
Okay.
January.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's February.
The 23rd is just my only hard no for for that week, unfortunately.
Okay.
How about the 22nd?
Okay.
Yes, that works.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to make that. I don't know why I said the 22nd, sorry.
Oh.
Could I attend virtual that day on the 22nd then?
You could, it would just count as one of your virtual meetings for the year.
Oh, okay.
For that subcommittee.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see, I
just for
see.
that. Just for that.
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine.
Should be fine.
Yeah, that's fine. The 22nd is fine.
Monday, the 22nd?
Yes.
Thank you for your flexibility with that.
What time?
I assume
Anything
anytime after 4 or 4:30.
Yeah. I'll defer to Julian.
I am wide open, so anytime is fine with me.
Me too.
Great.
Four?
Let's say 4.
4
Okay.
o'clock?
Great.
Okay. Thank you. And then community park improvements is Trudy and Natalie. And I'll say for that meeting, that's one where we would really encourage the public's attendance, and we would promote through the Mothers of Brisbane. So having a little bit more lead time for that would be better than scheduling it soon to now.
Okay.
So do we want to look at like early February?
Gosh, look what I did.
Sure, I'm free that week. And I'll defer to what date and time. And that one's in person, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be here.
Okay. I'm fine with any time.
Any day that week.
Mhm.
Let's see. The week of the 5th.
Yeah.
What about Wednesday? Well, Wednesday the 7th.
Okay.
Sure.
Since it will be a public meeting that will want to allow virtual participation, I'll just want to double check the city's calendar to make sure that we're not conflicting with any other committee or commissions. So let's tentatively say the 7th, and then if there's a conflict, I'll let you know, and we can look at a different date that week.
Do you need a backup date that we
Sure.
can give you? Like if it doesn't work on the 7th?
Sure. Yep.
Does the 6th or the 8th work?
Yeah. Okay?
Yep.
The 6th?
Yeah, or the 8th works
Okay.
for me. Yep. 6,
Okay.
7, or 8.
Okay, great. And that would likely be an evening, maybe a 6 o'clock start. Yeah. Okay, great, thank you. We'll confirm and we'll send out calendar invite.
Thanks, everybody. Any specific commissioner reports?
I have some items that I would like to just put on the whatever schedule, because there's been some items that have come up in different meetings that I've been in that I don't want to fall through the cracks, that I want to kind of put into these subcommittees. So one of them probably should go into the events committee, and it's an idea that Tom came up. I think you were involved with it, but it was that idea of doing a push-pin show. It would be an event that the city would help sponsor, and it was called a day in the life of Brisbane, and it was everybody take photos on a certain day, and then we show up to have a very informal, what they call a push pin show, where you put your photos up on large boards or walls or whatever. We were thinking possibly using the old library and just having a little event where it's kind of kids, adults, everybody has a vision. And it just sounded like a really fun event that we could do. We tried to put it in the arts committee, but it was too much of a performance art for it. It's not permanent. It's just a one-day event. And it would, the photographs could go into the city archives or whatever, but it's a way of people of Brisbane just kind of through their own eyes, through the kids' eyes, through everybody's eyes, coming forth with their images and just having a get-together show. And it sounded like a super fun idea. I wanted to put that out there as an event, a possible future event. So that's one.
I like it. It's a little bit retro too. That's what I like
Is
about
it?
Yeah. I mean, well, no one has paper photos. You don't push pin a
That's
photo into anything anymore. So that's kind
true.
of cool.
We have to have them printed nicely. Yeah, we could make them into a book. I mean, anyways, it needs to be fleshed out. But
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun idea,
It
a
is a
fun
good idea,
community
yeah.
idea.
Well, if you think about 100 years from now, right? I mean,
Mhm.
how about, I love seeing the archives from
Yeah.
before we all got here. So
Yep.
thinking 100, 200 years out, it's really important stuff.
Oh, I like that. I like that thought. Another tiny event was somebody in town wanted to do a seed exchange.
I saw that
Brandon,
on
yeah,
Facebook.
Brandon wanted to do a seed exchange. Very small event, but just having the city give us space to do it and maybe promote it. For gardeners for the spring. So a little before springtime. Again, I don't know where it goes, but I'd like to get the city to promote that. It's a tiny event, but it could still be fun. And then the Committee of Beautification, it's a beautification ad hoc committee, and I seem to be the only person on this committee. And it's never had anything on the agenda or done anything in all the years that I've been involved. But there is a idea of working on a monument sign for the city of Brisbane. So when you drive into town, something that says, "Welcome to Brisbane." And there have been some citizens and myself that have been kind of working on the concept, but it needs to be brought to the city in a committee form so it can work through the process. So I think that goes in the beautification committee.
It's not art.
Huh? It's
not
not
art.
art. No, it's not art. It could be art, but I don't know. It could be art, but I don't think it needs to be that artsy. Anyways, I don't know.
It's more wayfinding or something.
Exactly,
yeah.
wayfinding.
Yeah.
I mean, we have signs around town, but we're really thinking of focusing on a monument sign. And it just needs to go into a committee. So I was thinking beautification. If you guys have any other ideas, what do you think?
And is the map, the Brisbane map, part of that?
That's,
Park and Rec, is that,
I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
in front of the.
that's
You-
maintenance.
You mean the one like near the post office?
It's
I
not
don't
our
know.
realm.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so those are my 3 things that I just wanted to get somewhere in a committee to move forward, if possible.
Could I also ask just a question on Luna Fest? What is happening now with that? Because at one point, so I know it's gone, but then I felt like there was rattlings of like a new thing, or else maybe that Cliff Bar was actually going to think up something.
Yeah, we
anyone
just
up
talked about that at the art meeting on Monday, and Madison's spearheading potentially a new show, a female directed, produced show outside of Luna Fest. I don't think they've gotten their act together. I think the owner that really loved Luna Fest, the past owner, hasn't really started it up again. So I think Madison's spearheading that, with the proceeds going to the Lions Club for the kids' scholarships. So I guess the ball was a huge success. So I don't know if they're going to do the ball and the film festival. I think having 2 female exclusive things is a little much. I'd like to have one of them more inclusive. But if anything has to do with film festivals, I would love to be involved.
Yeah, I love film festivals. It doesn't have to be by women. They're to me, they're one of the most fun things I go to every year. So I'd hate to have that go away.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't just have Brisbane Film Festival.
Well,
Anyway,
Madison's.
I don't know
Madison-
what all it takes.
Yeah,
to
she's
do
done an
that.
amazing job, I think, and she knows so much. She's had a lot of successes and knows all the mistakes. So she'd be a great support in that. And she did say if anything transpires, she would love to help us. So.
Okay.
Yeah, with the transfer of ownership of Cliff Bar, they have said that they're taking a pause on LunaFest at least through 2024, but they will potentially revisit the conversation for future years. And as Tom mentioned, Madison is working on something to kind of preserve that fundraising opportunity for the Lions Club Scholarship Fund. But I know it has come up with the commission before too, to potentially create some type of youth involved film festival. So we're having lots of conversations about prospective events. So it might make sense to schedule an events subcommittee and have that kind of be the first conversation about what those things might look like and how we want to prioritize them in 2024. And then that can come back to the full commission for additional conversation.
Yeah, children for sure, kids. And I think Julie, don't you have a bunch of films too? Your name was brought up as well with Madison, so.
Yeah, I have. So my company, my nonprofit organization, I worked on 6 10-minute films that showcase the stories, the heroic stories of girls in parts of the world who have overcome enormous challenges, and so they're wonderful stories, and I would love to feature some or all of them in this film festival. It would be amazing to do that. So I'll reach out to Madison. I told her about it, but I'll send to her the films, and maybe you too, Tom. They're under wraps, so we can't share them publicly until a certain date. But I'll share all that with you.
Send the NDA immediately.
Yeah.
So can we schedule an events committee?
We can schedule one, yeah?
Okay, I think sooner rather than later.
So that's Lisa, Frank, and Tom.
Okay. How about sometime in early February, like the 6th? It's a Tuesday.
Looking. That can work.
How about you, Tom?
Yeah, that looks good. There's something on my calendar that doesn't have a name,
Oh,
so that's probably an error between finger and brain.
Yeah.
okay. Does the 6th work for you guys?
As long as the Community Park Improvement Subcommittee doesn't take that date. So yes, let's say tentatively the 6th.
How
Okay.
about 13th? It's back up.
13th as a backup.
I'm booked on the 13th.
12.
The 12th I could do.
Okay, hang on.
Hanging.
Okay, the 12th. I'm looking. 12th is open. 12th is fine.
Okay, 12th as a backup.
Yeah.
And what time works?
What time is good for you guys? I'm open.
I'd prefer after 5 or
Right.
5 or after.
Right.
Yeah, if we're penalized if we dial into one of these subcommittee meetings.
Well, you have 2 virtual per subcommittee per year.
Well, per subcommittee per year, per subcommittee. Okay.
But we don't want to go. I mean, like, what is your guys' schedule as far as going later? Is 6:30 okay, or is 6
Yeah,
okay?
that's fine.
6 is okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 6.
6 would be
We
good.
flex our
You
schedules
can
Do
do
5
accordingly.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
5
So you
on.
could do 5 on.
4:30 is hard.
5:30?
5:30. Let's
Great.
do 5:30.
5:30.
Compromise.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay, any other commissioner reports? Okay, on to staff reports.
All right, it's that time of the meeting. All of your great things going on.
Hand the mic over.
All right. Baseball.
Sit back.
Baseball registration has opened up for our Rattlers, Green Dragons, and Blue Stars, filling quickly. Roomba starts up tomorrow with a new 12-week session. Our Crocker Trail walking group for seniors starts on the 22nd, and that is new. Previously, it was at San Bruno Mountain. And that'll be led by coordinator Jeff Franco. So that's exciting. Our registration for summer camps opens on the 6th of February, and we will be offering 8 weeks of summer camp, including our field trips, and it does fill up quickly, so we will be sending out some additional notices with that, but save the date. Coming up, I'm hoping that Jovi could do a share screen real quick. You may have seen on social media, the seniors did a trip to the Hiller Aviation Museum.
Mhm.
They had a lot of fun. This is them doing some flight simulation, again, with Jeff Franco, who led them. But they enjoyed the afternoon, although very close to home. I think it was one that a lot of them hadn't been before, and they had a lot of fun. The next senior trips, they're going to Grayton in February, and then the San Jose Museum, which is relatively still new, in March.
Wow.
We did already talk about the public art master plan, or do we need, yeah?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so we're good there. Just some additional upcoming events. This Friday is the middle school dance over at Mission Blue. So that's going on. There is a teen night at the Sunrise Room on the 17th of January. We have 2 parent night out events coming up, one on the 27th of January and one on the 10th. And then we're looking at potentially having one that might coincide with the BES Best PTO spring thing. So keep your ears out for that. The Mob Shop will be coming January 26th and the 27th. The annual Artist Evening of Sharing is on February 3rd. And then we do have the Sweetheart Pickleball Tournament on the 7th at 7 p.m. at Mission Blue Tennis Courts. A new event that is being offered is a family pajama dance party over at Mission Blue on the 23rd. And then I did just want to share 2 other items. You may have seen, if you got the blast, that we put a blurb in about the playground resurfacing project. So that project will begin working on site pending weather on the 29th of this month, January the 29th. So we will have signage placed out around the perimeter of the playground, and we will be needing to have the bathroom closed off for that. So we are bringing in a porta potty and wash station that we'll have throughout the project. So we just appreciate the public's cooperation as we work to beautify the playground area. So there's that. And then one other element is the annual pool closure. We didn't actually do one last year, but we do have a number of things that are going to be taking place during that closure, February 12th through the 19th. And that is one that we've listed out in our activity guide, and we have signs posted around the pool. I think that covers it.
But you're not draining it.
No.
Okay.
No dog events just yet.
Okay.
You will be the first to know when we are ready to drain the pool.
Thank you. I hereby volunteer.
I don't either.
Oh,
You can have like a doggy event at the pool and charge money to allow
well,
your dog
if
to
they
swim in the
drain
pool
if they drain the pool, then we could have a doggy event before they drain it,
before they drain it.
and then we could have like charge and have a big doggy event at the pool, which we're super excited about, but it's never happened.
Yes. My number one question for Norina: when are we draining the pool?
I
Hopefully
did.
never.
I did. Sorry, forget one last one. My apologies. On the 10th, which is February the 10th, it's going to be our first of our new, hopefully established young adult series. We're going to be doing a resume workshop and
Oh, great.
interview with confidence. And that is intended for 16 and up, but actually like a 16 to 22 potentially, a more non-targeted area for us to program for. And Julie has been supporting a lot with staff with that event. So we just put that out in the blast as well. There is a Google form just to get an idea of signups. But February 10th, which is a Saturday.
Can a
That's great.
57-year-old go?
Julie?
All are welcome
Yeah.
in my book.
Great.
That's great. Very lengthy this. Again, thank you, Nicole. Any other staff reports? Okay. Moving on to commission matters. Do we have any written communications tonight?
We do not.
Okay. Then I think if there's nothing else, our next scheduled meeting is on Valentine's Day, and I'm wearing my only piece of red clothing tonight. I'll wear it next month. Yeah, I don't have a lot of red. So I think we can adjourn the meeting here at, what time is it? 7:27 p.m.
Thank you.
Oh, I was supposed to go do this.
Thanks so much.
Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Bye, Julie.